On today's Law Next, many believe that generative AI will fundamentally transform how legal work gets done. And that is particularly so in the high stakes world of document review and e discovery. Now, the e discovery company Reveal Data has made what might be considered a bold statement about its confidence in that future, announcing not only the September launch of its new GenAI review platform called Azie, it's AJI, but also its decision to offer it completely free through the end of 2025 so that, quote, the entire legal community gets to explore and master the next era in Gen AI review innovation. Reveal's founder and CEO Wendell Jisa says this moment represents more than just a product launch. For him, it's personal. Having started his career 3 decades ago delivering photocopies to Chicago law firms, Jesus sees this transformative moment as the legal industry's opportunity to become technology trailblazers rather than laggards. On today's show, I'm joined by Jisa, as well as Reveal's Chief Technology Officer, Matthew Brothers-McGrew, to discuss their vision for democratizing AI in the legal profession, how they're addressing concerns about defensibility and court acceptance, and why they believe this technology will impact the legal industry more than any other. We recorded this just a few days before ILTACON, where these themes are certain to dominate conversations among legal technology leaders. I'm Bob Ambrogi, and you're listening to Law Next, the podcast that features the innovators and entrepreneurs who are driving what's next in law. Before we get to any of that, please take this moment to hear from the sponsors who so generously support this podcast. Capture lost revenue by accurately tracking time anytime, anyplace. Bill for Time helps your firm accurately track time with intuitive timers, automate your billing with customizable templates, and process payments with built-in online payment processing. Plus, with award-winning customer support, you'll be up and running in no time. Take your practice to the next level at billfortime.com. That's Bill, the number 4, time.com. Now let's get to today's conversation. Wendell, Matthew, welcome to Law Next.
Hi, Bob. How are you doing today? Thanks for having us.
Good to see you again, Wendell and Matthew. Good to meet you. I don't think we've ever had a chance to talk before, but good to see you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So as we are speaking, we are just a few days before ILTACON. This will probably be going up actually during ILTACON. I don't know if that's good or bad because everybody will be so busy, but they'll listen to it eventually. But as we are in this run up to ILTACON, you have just announced the imminent launch coming in September of Azie, your generative AI powered document review platform. And you also made a kind of a notable announcement about it, which is that you're going to be offering free access to it through the end of the year. And Wendell, I kind of want to start with you because I was intrigued by your post yesterday on LinkedIn in which you said, quote, today's announcement is a personal one. So what made it personal to you?
So, Bob, what's interesting is that I started in this industry as a 22-year-old kid delivering photocopies to law firms in Chicago. And when
what are photocopies? I don't.
What's that?
I said, what are photocopies? I have no idea.
Yeah, what are no one knows anymore, right? I mean, literally like photocopies of fax paper. We got more money for those, right? And it's been it's a 30-year journey for me. And it's one of those things where I've gone through the good times, the bad times, the medium times. I've met a tremendous people in this industry over the years. And there's always been this challenge where that people say the legal industry is slow to adopt technology. And I've heard this, from the earliest days to the most recent days. However, In the last, I'd say 12 to 18 months, whether you're talking to investors or you're talking to other CEOs or founders, or you're speaking to peers in the industry itself, attorneys, investigators, it doesn't really matter. More and more people have recognized the fact that it's a requirement now. And I feel like it's one of those things where we've gotten to a point where the individuals who are using the technology are now the decision makers. And this is a moment in time where if we come together as an industry and we work as one, not separately, we have a unique opportunity to put the legal world in a situation to where we're looked as a trailblazer in how to use technology, because technology like Azie and others, quite frankly, is such a good strategic fit for our industry. We believe it reveal, and I personally believe that the legal industry itself will be impacted more than any other industry in the world. And I don't know if that's because we have been slow to adopt technology. I don't know if that's because data volumes are exploding and different types of sources are exploding. But what I'll tell you is that for a kid that grew up delivering boxes in blizzards in Chicago to now being the founder of what we believe is one of the most, I'll take a step back from that, one of the most significant technology companies in the legal industry today in 2025, it's been a journey. And that journey is personal. And the people that I've met along the way, that, over the years, like 30 years is a long time. The people I've met, I care about them. I care about the industry. I'm personally and emotionally invested in what we're doing. And I'm just proud of the fact that something that has been created from nothing into something great with many challenges and lots of scar tissue, has a seat at the table. Our industry, if we come together as one and we communicate together, if whoever I get on a call with, whether it's AJ or Phil or Eric or Jonathan or Mike Williams at Metric, it doesn't matter, right? We've got to work together
For
so
people
that
who
our
don't know, you're
customers.
rattling off the names of the CEOs of other e-discovery companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no, look, you could look at every
Yeah.
industry, the
Yeah.
NFL, the NHL. I mean, look at this. Like, you always see people shaking hands at halftime after the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're at. We're at an
Mm-hmm.
inflection point where we need to work together and we need to push this forward because this is unique. You've been in the industry for a while, Matthew, you've been in the industry for a while. Well, the three of us know that it's going to take more than just one of us. It's going to take all of us. And that's why it's personal. Maybe because I came from the bottom of the barrel. When you're delivering photocopies for Icon, you've got to speak with the partners, you've got to speak with the associates, the paralegals, the front desk people, the security guards to sneak in, to steal the phone books, right, to call the lawyers. You've got to meet with the loading dock people, and going through that journey over the years and being a part of it and seeing the adoption of technology. And again, I say this with as much humility as possible. Being a part of that and influencing that is is one of my crowning moments in my career, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah.
I think that the moment is now.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I have also been in the legal tech industry for 30 plus years, I hate to say. What's interesting, I think, about where we're at right now is, as you say, it feels like we're on the cusp, more than on the cusp. We're crossing over, I guess, the cusp of something new. But a company such as Reveal, is a company that has had an established reputation as a leader in using AI in e-discovery and document review and investigations. Now you're coming out with this new generative AI product. As you say, others in the industry are coming out with their generative AI products. Matthew, I'm curious from your perspective, how does Gen AI kind of change the game for e-discovery?
Well, I mean, let's take a step back. AI is changing all industries. It's changing the world. I mean,
In the
all
world.
you look around. This is the technological revolution of our time, right? Or you go all the way back to the industrial revolution. This is our industrial revolution. I and it's changing. What's interesting and what's great about the moment in which we live, and Wendell already touched on this, is that it's not like we're having to go teach people about LLMs and AI, right? they're actually getting to use it day in and day out. They're getting to understand this technology in all facets of their life. And I think that's one of the interesting things that we talk about a lot internally. What Wendell said it is that he's having conversations with other CEOs and other leaders in the industry, uh, and like we actually need each other in order to show the power of this technology. But one of the things that we have talked about, and the word that we use quite frequently, is democratize.
Mm-hmm.
From our perspective, we don't want to take this technology and put a box around it. We know that just like computers did in the 80s. I mean, I lived through the 80s, and I heard my parents and all of my family members and my parents' friends, computers are going to replace our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, that clearly didn't live up to all of the hype during that era, and you're hearing a lot of that now. What the reality is going to be is, just like with computers, it's going to allow people to focus on more complicated problems or to offer more value to their customers rather than having to focus on, you know, single document review, going doc to doc, 60 documents an hour. Now you can focus on what are the more complicated issues? How do I actually present a better case? How can I understand what the logistics of my case are? And Reveal has been on the forefront of AI for the last 15 years through Brainspace and Reveal AI. We are the recognized industry leader, and LLMs is just that next evolution. And so the announcement we made earlier this week is about this idea of democratization, making sure that folks get comfortable with the technology in the context of the legal space.
Is that why you're offering it for free for a
Yeah.
period of time? Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting about that, Bob? That's a great question, and that was that was a board discussion at Reveal about going through this for 2025. But I'll use a very simple example. Every email I send now, I pump through ChatGPT. And before I started using ChatGPT, and before I knew to put remove M dashes, right? I was using the free model, and I was becoming better and better at it. And you think about things like that. When you're not paying for something and you're able to become an expert in it,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very empowering. And so for us to be able to give this industry that I am personally indebted to, my family is personally indebted to, this company is personally indebted to, we need to invest in the community first, and then we will benefit in the long run. But when you invest in something, you can't do it with restrictions. You can't do it that way. So what we need to do is we need to say, hey, become experts in this, learn to use it. We're all going to stumble. We all live in glass houses. None of this software is perfect. We recognize that. Everyone else should recognize that. But as you're learning it, when you do invest in it, when you go to get your budget approvals, this, that, or the other, you're going to know how to use it. You're going to be able to accelerate the progress with it and drive real amplification in a shorter period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Tell me a little bit more. I told you before we started recording, I don't want to get into technical details too much, but tell me a little bit more about what Azie is, what its capabilities are going to be, how it's going to be different or integrate with what you're already doing in terms of your existing platform.
So the way we've approached Azie is distinct from how some others are approaching GenAI review. We understand the context of the legal space. We use off-the-shelf LLMs just like most folks do, but it's really about the workflow. It is about how you integrate the human with the technology. And in fact, we have a patent pending workflow that we built around Azie. The big fear that we've heard from the industry is a couple of fears. One is it's not tested. No court has really accepted it. And the way that we've tried to address that as we've designed and rolled out Azie is by building all of the statistics and on all of the time proven capabilities that are already accepted by the court around this new technology. So we have provided the ability for someone to run F1 scores and recall and precision, the same thing that they already have proven to the court is around the classic AI models and how they prove the efficacy of those models to the court and how they negotiate with the other side to accept that technology. So we understand that the context is that folks want to use the technology. We want to make sure that it is defensible. So defensibility is a key player here. The second is it's about cost. And obviously we're so committed to the technology that we want people to use it. We're giving it away for free this year. We want to make sure that people are not afraid to use the technology. And one of the ways that we've done that is by building in what we call a calibration workflow. And the calibration workflow is where you are essentially working hand in hand with the AI. You're defining what it is that you're looking for. You might take your RFP, plug in all of the paragraphs from your RFP. The AI is actually going to then look at your requests and give you suggestions and say, you know what, maybe I don't quite understand that sentence you just told me. Give me a little bit more detail about that. Or perhaps, you need to define what this acronym is that you're using. So the LLM is actually evaluating what you're telling it before you look at a single document and telling you what's good and what's bad about the way you're interacting with me. And then you sit there and you iterate with the AI to refine what you're asking for. When the AI is comfortable that your requests are right, you then are choosing what we call a calibration set. And what's unique about how we're doing it is, I think we've all been there, right? And we want a control set. If I have 10 million documents in a case, how do you actually go pull a control set that is not just a bunch of complete irrelevant junk? A control set's best when you have some documents that are responsive, some that are non-responsive, some that fit in the middle. So we actually are building this on top of an AI product that we released about 18 months ago called Ask. And Ask is an AI search platform where you can ask natural language questions of your data. And so Azie is actually going to Ask and saying, here's what the user is looking to find using Azie. Give me 15 documents or 20 documents that are highly responsive to these issues, and find 15 or 20 documents that are not. Give me some documents in the middle. So that way you have a calibration set of roughly, let's say, 100 documents. And then you have a reviewer review those 100 documents. And then we're comparing your response to the response of the AI. And then there's an iterative process where the AI then said they're actually looking at the disagreements and says, human said this was responsive. The AI said this is not responsive. Why? And the AI will say, well, if you had made changes to your prompt to, add this sentence or to modify it in some way, I would have found that document responsive. And so it's actually working with you hand in hand in order to be able to fine tune exactly what you're asking the AI to find within your document set. And so only once you have reached the end, right, and you feel that you're getting good recall and good precision, then you would start to run it across, let's say, a larger set of 5,000. And then can you validate it? And then if you're comfortable with the results, you can do it on a much larger set, your million or 10 million document case. And so you don't have to choose to waste a bunch of time and potentially money and effort, and potentially also get bad results on the other side of that. We want to do small targeted work up front, let the LLM work with you as a partner in order to be able to get the best results at the end.
So it sounds like you're using the LLM as a supplement, in effect, to more traditional TAR methods. It's not replacing TAR; it's enhancing TAR. Is that fair to say? Amplifying.
It's amplifying. Yeah, maybe we should have called it amplify. I don't know.
Well, and that's, in fact, there was a lot of conversation we had. I mean, we talked a lot about this as we were bringing this to market. We were very clear. We do not want Azie to replace the reviewer.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I mean, 20 years down the road, maybe the market's ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think as people become more comfortable, just like they were in the computer revolution, I think there will be a natural progression towards it. But that's not what where we want this technology to be today. We want it to truly be your partner. And in fact, I talked about one potential workflow, but we built 3 or 4 workflows because we know that some folks are going to want to use it as QC. Some folks are going to want to use it for traditional review. Some people are going to want to use it for privilege review. We've added a lot of flexibility because we know that the technology is early, and we know that our customers are probably going to be more creative than we are. So we wanted to give them more tools in the toolbox, and then work with them closely to understand how we can evolve this to become a better tool down the road. And in fact, you brought up one point around augmenting some of the AI that we currently have. Also, part of our patent pending technology is what we call hybrid mode,
I was going to mention that.
where we're actually using the LLM as an agent to train a classical AI model. So the AI models that everyone knows and loves today and have used in our product and many others.
Knows and loves maybe an overstatement, but I don't know.
Hey, my wife knows and loves me too.
But the thing is, the courts trust these.
Yes.
So really want to accelerate your review, but maybe this isn't the case. You want to test this, before court. Then what you do is you can actually use the LLM to take basically batches of documents, 50, 100 at a time, train the classic LLM until you reach a specific F1 score. And then now you can take that classic AI model and use that to score all of the other documents in your case. So you're using the LLM to create the model that you would build by hand today. So again, we want to provide a lot of different tools and pathways and workflows for our customers, and then evolve that, over the course of the next 10 years to really understand how we can address their needs as they get more interesting and complex, and they get more comfortable with technology. Something I haven't asked you yet is, where did the name come from?
Oh boy. So that's an interesting question. That is kind of fun. It's kind of a funny story. It also shows some of the more our entrepreneurial roots are still at Reveal, even though we are at the scale we are. Originally, we had 3 names that we were thinking about. We were thinking about Ask and Answer. Answer was going to be AI, and it was, instead of spelling it out, Answer was going to be AI Answer.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. There was another one I can't remember, and the other one was Azie. And when we were in my room, kind of like whiteboarding it with the marketing team and some of the product folks, I'm like, what is Azie? And they're like, oh, it's justice for AI, or AI justice. And I was like, I like that, because it kind of fits with our democratize the practice of law and all this stuff. And as people kept asking about it, I remember someone at our company was like, that was not in the know, was like, it kind of looks like a scramble of your last name. And I was like, you think? And then we noticed it. So to this day, no one sort of owned up to the fact that it might be a scramble of Jisa and removing the F. I'm still being told that it's justice for AI.
Right.
Whether that's true or not, we don't know.
Right.
Maybe we'll ask Azie in the end, and they can answer the question for us.
It's also the name of a hot pepper, I think, right? From Google.
It is the name of a hot pepper. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something else I want to ask you about, a point you made. I think Matthew made the point about cost as one of the issues here. And again, I understand you're offering it for free for a period of time. But back when you acquired Logical 2023, I think it was, one of the points you made then is you really wanted to be kind of a platform for all lawyers, for all practitioners, smaller firms, medium firms, large firms, enterprise. So what are you going to be doing now to make this technology available to firms of all sizes and lawyers and all types of practices?
I love this question. Matthew, if you don't mind, I'm going to pontificate here. I will tell you, Bob, that the acquisition of Logical has been incredibly successful. It'll be 2 years ago on August 15th. And, the team, I'll forever be indebted to Andy for allowing us to sort of take Logical to where we've taken it. It's grown incredibly over the past 2 years. That customer base, we love the purity of Logical. Logical will never be Reveal. And a lot of people say, hey, Reveal's the crown jewel. That's absolutely false. We are adamant about the fact that we have 2 distinct, e-discovery platforms that serve two distinct use cases. Pick your poison, freedom of choice. Very similar to RPD, Reveal Private Deployment. What's really important to us is to make sure that whether you're a single attorney in St. Thomas or you're Kirkland and Ellis in Chicago, it doesn't matter. You all have the right and available access to this artificial intelligence, Azie, because if we don't give that to everyone, then we are doing a disservice to the legal community. This is meant to empower everyone, not just the AmLaw 100. And I will say that this is one of the things I personally am most passionate about, because when you look at the industry, there's the forgotten few. And the forgotten few are some of these small law firms that still pay their bills. They still have a need. And giving them the opportunity to leverage this and save time to spend for their customers or to spend time with their families is a very powerful opportunity for us to give to folks. And so we've got with Reveal, it'll be coming out in September. I speak I will be unclear on this, but the hope is that the logical customer base will have access to Azie in Q1. We really believe investing in innovation and sharing that. But what we want to be looked at is a legal AI company that has this single AI engine that is fueling both logical and Reveal in equal parts, so that all of those customers, no matter what platform they're using at Reveal, they get access to Azie.
So starts on Reveal, but then by Q1 next year, probably available within Logical as well.
That's the hope.
Is that the hope?
Yeah, what I've learned is to never make a promise on a date. Always give a broad 90-day window.
Yeah, especially when you're being recorded.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be clear, as we're building new functionality, whether that's Ask or whether that's Azie or whatever comes next, we're designing it in such a way that it is going to be able to be consumable in both the Reveal platform and in the Logical platform. And as an example, Ask in Logical is actually going to be coming out for early access in the next couple weeks. And it'll be GA towards the end of the year. So this is all part of our roadmap and our plan. We want to make sure that customers, whether they're using Logical or Reveal, have access to the same AI technologies.
And Bob, just to add to that, when I look out my window right now, you've got the people at 30 North LaSalle Street, where it's all these smaller law firms. The difference this will make to folks like that is incredible. And I love the fact that as a company, as a team, as an organization, we're investing in not just the AmLaw 100 or AmLaw 200, or the Fortune 500. We're investing in everyone to give them access to this so that they can do what they need to do. And we can amplify their process as much as we are everyone else's. This is personal for all of us at Reveal.
Yeah. I'll be talking with Wendell Jisa and Matthew Brothers-McGrew from Reveal about their upcoming GenAI platform, Azie, and their decision to offer it free through 2025. We explored how they're building defensibility into GenAI review through calibration workflows and hybrid modes, and their vision for democratizing this technology across firms of all sizes. When we return, we're going to dive into Reveal's other recent announcement concerning its doubling down on support for its customers who prefer to host their software on premises rather than in the cloud. It's a strategy that seemingly puts the company at odds with competitors such as Relativity, but Jisa says it all goes back to their core philosophy of democratizing access to technology. We'll also look both back and forward at Reveal's acquisition strategy and what the future holds for this rapidly evolving company. Before we get to any of that, please take this opportunity to learn about the sponsors who so generously support this podcast. Streamline your time tracking and simplify firm operations with Bill for Time, the most trusted name in legal time tracking and billing software. With Bill for Time's intuitive time tracker, standardized invoicing, customizable templates, and built-in online payment processing, you could be getting paid up to 70% faster. Visit billfortime.com today to learn how to take your practice to the next level. That's Bill, the number 4, time.com. Welcome back to Law Next. I'm Bob Ambrogi, and I'm speaking with Wendell Jisa, the founder and CEO of Reveal, and Matthew Brothers-McGrew, the company's chief technology officer. Before the break, we were discussing their new generative AI platform, Azie, and how they're working to make advanced AI accessible to legal teams of all sizes. I want to shift our focus to infrastructure and deployment options. While many in the industry are pushing toward cloud-only solutions, Reveal has recently taken a different path, launching a new private deployment option to support customers wherever they want to use Reveal's software, whether it's in the cloud, on-premises, or hybrid. As we return to the show, that's where we pick up. I wanted to switch topics a little bit. You just alluded to private deployment. Just a couple months ago, I had Phil Saunders, who you mentioned, the CEO of Relativity, on this podcast to talk about his announcement that starting in 2028, Relativity is going to basically require that all new matters be hosted in the cloud, not on premises. You kind of took a different tack this week, or I guess last week or so, announcing this private deployment group, I think, within your company, and that you're going to be supporting companies basically wherever they want to be hosting, whether it's on premises or in the cloud. So, with so many in the industry saying the future is in the cloud, especially with GenAI and the capabilities that being in the cloud enable. Why take that position? Why take that tack?
Here, look, Matthew, I'll let you talk technically in a second, but look, from our perspective, we've always believed in, back to the word, democratize, right? And we heard our customers. We believe the future is in the cloud as well. We get that. And we're not going to invest anything less in that. But there's also a moment where you've got to recognize that there needs to be a bridge for folks. And that bridge can be used by folks when they want to be used. We made the decision to invest in and make operational decisions to invest more of our profitability into RPD so that our customers had the opportunity to take the bridge they wanted to go. Now, again, I will be very adamant. We are a cloud SaaS software company, and we always will be that at our roots. We feel responsible to listen to our customers and give them what they want. They've built their businesses in different situations. Their customers might want this. They may not be ready. Giving folks optionality is at our core as a company and a business culture and a business philosophy. So RPD is also very near and dear to our heart. It doesn't fall on deaf ears with our board because there is a cost to it, but our customers are happy about it. And we feel like if folks need to move more slowly into something, at Reveal, it's my personal responsibility to the community and also the company's responsibility to give folks the opportunity to crawl, walk, run to where they're going. Look, this may be a disaster. 3 or 4 people might sign up for it. That is what it is. We've invested in it the way we wanted to invest in it. We want to be there as a resource for folks. Everyone else might decide, you know what, we're not going to go that direction. We're going to go this direction. But from our perspective, for the industry, it was our responsibility to give them access to something that they can't get in other areas.
Yeah. Is this a response to Relativity's move, or was this in the works already?
Look, I mean, I think that it's all. I think that that's a good question. I'm a straightforward guy, so I'm going to give you a straightforward answer. I think that we heard enough people that were unhappy about the announcement that Relativity made. We already knew it was coming, so we were already exploring the possibility of this, that it absolutely influenced what we did. because we feel like if some of those customers can move into RPD and we can get an opportunity to get them into Azie or Logical or Reveal Enterprise, we've got an opportunity to get those customers. That's not the only reason, though. That's part of the reason, but it's not the only reason.
And Matthew Wendell said he'd leave the technical parts to you, but what are the technical parts to that? I mean, is this primarily a service that you're offering, or are there technical components as well?
Yeah,
or,
I think that's important, Matthew. So talk about the
Yeah.
infrastructure team we built
Yeah.
out.
Before we get into the technical piece, I do want to reiterate one thing that Wendell said, which is RPD is an embodiment of the ethos we've always had at Reveal, right? It was in, Wendell and I were here when it was just single digits, number of employees, right? We've been here a long time. And we used to have a tagline called Reveal.
Matthew, to be clear, I was here when it was a single.
When it was right. But we used to have a tagline called Reveal Everywhere. And I think this is actually this is the sort of long-term embodiment of that philosophy, which is, we want to bring the technology to you wherever you need. So our RPD, so I'll get into a couple of the technical details. It is a software product that we're bringing to market, but the piece that I want to be very clear about is that we are not bringing a separate software product to market. It is a single code base. So the Reveal platform is a modern review platform. It is cloud-based, but it is built on technologies that most companies these days are running in their own, whether it's their own data center, whether it's running in their own cloud, whether it's Azure, GCP, or Oracle. This is not an on-prem play, right? This is truly a bring Reveal wherever you want to put it play. So if you want to put it in cloud, you can put it in your own cloud. If it's on-prem, put it on-prem. If it's an appliance, put it on an appliance. But it is a fully containerized platform that gives it the flexibility to be able to be located wherever you would like to put it. And we've always been very strategic about how we build our technology so that we have that optionality.
Matthew, sorry, real quickly, just to interrupt you. One thing, Bob, that's really interesting that we've done, we've built a really good relationship with our AWS reseller Mission. They actually have a price sheet. After 4 years, we got this price sheet where folks can go directly to our reseller and they can get wholesale pricing and work directly with AWS and Mission, which I love. I love offering that optionality and sharing in the wealth and success of hosting this data. Sorry, Matt, I wanted to add that.
It's okay. So RPD is it's really about productizing the offering of bringing it to a private deployment. So, ensuring that we have great documentation, great user experience, that we have the support staff, the deployment personnel to be able to assist our customers with deployment. To be clear, we don't want to be a managed service, within your environment, right? There are plenty of other managed service providers out there that will help you with your infrastructure, if that's what you need. But we know that we need to be able to support internal teams or infrastructure providers in order to be able to deploy and manage our software wherever you want to deploy it.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Our time is running, and I have so many things I want to ask you about. I guess I just wanted to also just kind of follow up a little bit on, obviously, the last 5 to 6 years of Reveal has been in some ways characterized by some of the major acquisitions you've done. There was NextLP in 2020, there was BrainSpace in 2021, then sort of the dual acquisition of Logical and iPro in 2023. I wonder if you can just kind of talk a little bit about what that's meant for where the company is today. And, two-part question, are you anticipating further acquisitions coming in the near future?
Yeah, so it's funny because we did NextLP and BrainSpace really within 90 days of each other, not dissimilar from what we did with iPro and Logical.
Yeah, one was announced late 2022. I mean, late 2020.
Those guys really was 75 days apart.
Yeah.
But
all fueled by K1.
People thought we were nuts, but we did it, right? And I look, I think that in any world we've got a buy, build, partner mentality, And I think that the last couple of years we made the three acquisitions, Ona, Logical, and iPro, and you have to go through an integration process. In parallel, we were doing, we were launching our FedRAMP certification, we were launching Azie, RPD, all these different things. And now that we're kind of coming out of the messy middle, as I like to call it, from an integration perspective, it's not just about product integration and technical integration. It's about operational integration. It's about cultural integration. 2-year anniversary will be August 15th. Owen, I think, was May of 2024. So a little bit more recently, but also a smaller company. Look, the hope is that we continue to grow organically. Right now, we are exploding. It's the right time to explode. It's primarily driven by, I think, our dual platform approach, the single AI engine. But I do think that in the coming, 2 to 3 years, we need to look at both the more transformational acquisitions that are out there to consider this is an industry that can be consolidated, whether it's in the practice of law or the business of law even, and continue to build our momentum. But we also need to look at some of these smaller companies. And, we've gotten away from partnering with smaller technology companies that are very smart. We've gotten away from, we'll be announcing a partnership next week at ILTA. And, it's a perfect example of a smaller company that is a really solid technology with a great go-to-market strategy. We need to look at those and say, hey, how can this help our customers?
Mm-hmm.
How can this help our platforms? And where do we see fits? So we're rolling that out to where we can start to build more of those partnerships out. And look, in reality, we are backed by private equity. So those partnerships will evolve. Some will end up as acquisitions, some will not. But I think that we need to be realized that we were built both organically and inorganically, and our future will remain the same. It's just the past couple of years, we made such transformational acquisitions that it was important for us to get our sea legs underneath us, stabilize the operations internally, both culturally and technically. And then now that we've come up for air and the water's no longer choppy, hey, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got to be bold to win big. And if you want to win big, this is our moment. This is why we need the entire industry getting behind Reveal and the other companies when we've got an opportunity as an industry to become the leader in AI globally.
Yeah. I know we're running really short on time here. I just wanted, what's ahead? What's not just the next year, but the next 5 years look like for Reveal?
I mean, pour gasoline on Reveal and go as fast as possible and leverage our partnerships, leverage our customers, and accelerate adoption of AI. It's as simple as that.
Sounds good. Anything else that either of you want to mention that I haven't asked about? I mean, well, I know there's a lot more probably that we haven't been able to talk about in this time, but anything you're just dying to point out before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd like to compliment Matthew and his team. A lot of times people, associate Reveal with me, but Matthew Brothers-McGrew has been with us now for almost 12 years and has moved up the ranks to CTO. And without him and his team and the innovation that they've created and the integration that they've created, none of this is possible, right? My job's easy. His job and the other leaders in the organization's job is difficult. And the employees that have been integrated, they've really bought into the system, the direction. A lot of that success is attributed to the guy on this call.
And I'm driven every day by bringing great technology to the legal space. Every day is exciting, and it'll be exciting to see what the next 5 years brings.
Yeah. Well, Matthew, when your next salary review comes up, play him that tape that he just.
Hey, you got to pay to play.
Well, Wendell, Matthew, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Bob. This is great. We really appreciate the time.
Yeah, I hope to see you both wandering around National Harbor next week.
See you next week. Yeah, let's try and shoot me a text or something.
All right. See ya. Thanks for listening to today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to share your own thoughts or comments, please do so by messaging me on LinkedIn or other social media, or just email me directly, ambrogi@gmail.com. If you're a fan of the show, leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. LawNext is a production of LawNext Media. I'm your host, Bob Ambrogi. Please join us again next time for another episode of Law Next.